Good morning, Dan and Amy. And a good piece by Lee Smith, the investigative reporter. He does a lot of work for RealClearInvestigations.com and other outlets. This one in Tablet, the 30 Tyrants. And he lays out in painstaking detail the connections between what have now become American oligarchs and Chinese communists. He was on Tucker Carlson the other night to talk about his piece. And here's what he said about those who exercise outsized control of our government, our culture, our lives in America.
Yeah, I mean, basically what I wanted to explain is I wanted to explain why so many things look crazy. Many things, for instance, that you cover on your show all the time. For instance, tonight, why people are coming across the border in such profound numbers. It all looks crazy until you realize there's a reason it's going on. And the reason is because the oligarchy that runs this country now is not primarily loyal to the United States. They do not care about the amount of damage they do to America. They don't care about the amount of damage they do to Americans. That's part of the system. Their primary loyalty is to their relationship to the Communist Chinese Party. That is their center of gravity. It's the source of their wealth, privilege, and prestige.
It's sort of an astounding statement, isn't it? That the oligarchs, those household names that run multi-billion-dollar, in some cases trillion-dollar companies, their main loyalty is to Chinese communists. But Lee Smith provided a little bit of a taste, and you can get more of it if you read that piece and his piece in the tablet, which I'll tweet out. He provided some of the details to buttress his case.
They looked at an enormous, cheap labor pool, and they said, we're going to get rich. And that's precisely what happened. We are more than a quarter of a century along, and that's precisely what's happened. Now, one of the interesting things that happened during the Donald Trump presidency, because Donald Trump started calling these people out, I think that Donald Trump didn't even have that clear a sense of how tied in, how extensive this network was. One of the examples I mentioned is, for instance, whoever would have put Apple CEO Tim Cook and LeBron James in the same family album. But there they are, sure enough, because they both rely, their wealth relies on the two same things: cheap Chinese labor and a growing Chinese consumer market. And if you look across, it's not just entertainment, it's not just tech. It goes into the corporate worlds. It goes into finance. Unfortunately, it affects our government throughout. One of the most astonishing revelations was a memo that former DNI John Ratcliffe wrote regarding the CIA, regarding their intelligence analysis. CIA management was apparently bullying analysts, saying they didn't like their analysis of China because they were worried about the policies it might encourage, meaning Donald Trump's policies, who was hard on China. Therefore, CIA management was protecting China from solid analysis. It's astonishing, but take it one step further. Remember who owns the cloud on which all of the CIA's information is collected, and that's Jeff Bezos, who is China's #1 distributor in the United States.
Is it any wonder why in 2020, 57% of Republicans say they were satisfied with big business? This year, according to Gallup's annual survey, 31%. Part of that's the culture war coming from the C-suites. Part of that is sort of an intuitive understanding, I think, of what Lee Smith is talking about without having all the details put together that he has put together. And the basis for more details, hopefully, to be put together. For a discussion on this topic, as well as COVID-nomics, we're pleased to be joined again by Steve Moore, Wall Street Journal columnist, Trumponomics author. Steve, thanks for joining us.
Hi, Dan. Hi, Amy.
What about what Lee Smith outlined there?
Well, I would say a couple things. First of all, I think that China certainly has a huge impact on what corporate America is doing, and it's not necessarily inappropriate. Like, this is a giant consumer market with 1.1, 1.2 billion people. As they become a middle-class country, we obviously want to sell our stuff to them, and so it makes sense that companies want to get into that market. I had dinner last night with some business folks, and they're not huge business, but they're trying to get their hooks into China because it is a big consumer market. So look, I don't have a problem with that kind of activity. What worries me is that we are in a race for economic supremacy with China. There's no question about it. China does want to take over as the economic superpower. They've made it very clear they have a plan to do that by 2025 to 2030. And the race is on, folks, and we better start taking competitiveness seriously. And we're not doing that. I mean, Joe Biden is everything he has done so far as president. He's only been, it seems like 2 years, but it's only been a few weeks, has been basically to put America last, not America first. I mean, we're not building pipelines. We're not drilling on federal lands where we have trillions of dollars of assets. We are, putting more and more regulations on. We're re-entering the Paris Climate Accord, which is, China is laughing at us for that. They don't have to change their behavior, and all the costs are imposed on us. We better, and by the way, the other thing is he wants to massively increase tax rates on American companies, small businesses, and our corporations, which is going to lead to more business in China, not less. So that's my problem, is we better take this seriously, or we're going to end up like, the Kansas City Chiefs against the Buccaneers on Sunday night.
Why can't President Biden be, remember the Prime Minister of Japan when he paid Japanese companies to move out of China and come back to the homeland? Why wouldn't he follow that lead?
Well, it's a great point. Look, we don't have to pay them to come back. We just have to incentivize them not to leave. Right? I mean, if you're going to rate, we got our business tax rate down to 21%. We were at 35, 36%. And we did that not because we love American companies, but we wanted to incentivize them to be here in Illinois, in Michigan, in New York, in California, in Texas, and Florida, not in Beijing and Shanghai and Mexico City and so on. And it worked, by the way. It worked, folks. We brought $1 trillion of capital back to the United States. We have factories moving back to the United States because we made America a more hospitable place to do business. And my point is, Biden isn't doing that. He thinks we should pay all the bills for the rest of the world. And he thinks we should raise our tax rates and we should have a $1.9 trillion of more spending. By the way, where are we going to get that $1.9 trillion from, Dan and Amy?
We're going to print it.
Who's going to buy the bonds? China.
That too. But here's the thing.
We're going to be more indebted to them.
Yeah, but here's something else, though, too, I want to get your reaction to. I mean, it seems to me that the Biden administration is just pursuing the same approach towards the economy that the Chinese communists do, a command control, quasi-capitalist economy where the point is to get, through transfer payments or funny money, people to a certain comfort level where you can run roughshod over them. They don't care about their liberties so much, their opportunities, so long as they have a certain comfort level. The kicker, of course, is that the Chinese communists are not bounded by concerns about the well-being of their constituents, or silliness like the Paris Accords. They don't have to deal with young socialists on college campuses and in corporate boardrooms that are virtue signaling. They don't have our politics, so they just plow over people, literally in some cases, where we're sort of now have the best worlds, the worst of both worlds, I should say. We have the cultural Marxists that are being catered to, and we have the Chinese communist economic model that's being pursued by the administration.
So, first of all, I do not think that China is going to take over the world because the central planning model that you just described, Dan, quite accurately, doesn't work. And we know it's going to crash and burn because when you have politicians, whether they're politicians in Washington, D.C. or politicians in Beijing making the decisions, it crashes and burns. I mean, that's the single most important economic lesson of history. It's never worked anywhere, anytime, and we're going to try it again in the United States. And, what frustrates me, Dan, for example, I've been doing a lot of work, as you guys know, in the energy industry. And the arrogance of these, people like Jen Psaki and Biden and John Kerry, and they go into these places like in West Virginia and say, we're going to close down all the coal mines, and then they go into the oil patch in Texas. Sorry, you're not going to make oil and gas anymore. But you know what, folks? They're going to make solar panels. These people are like, what the hell are they talking about? And by the way, do you know what there was a great study that just came out. We've had these programs for like 15 years to help the coal miners whose jobs we killed because we can't use coal. You know what these guys make now? $14 an hour.
Oh, boy.
They
but
were making $60,000-$70,000 a year. Now they're making $14. Gee, thank you, Joe Biden. I want to be a solar panel installer.
Yeah, but
I mean,
my question is, Steve, my question is crashing the economy a bug or a feature? My point is to say whether it's mandates for COVID tests that would crater the airlines, or whether it is the energy policy, or whether it is just Joe Biden poor-mouthing the economy. James Freeman, your colleague at Wall Street Journal, had a good piece about this. Why is Joe Biden talking about a dark winter when the Labor Department reported 6.6 million job openings in December? There's a reason he's poor-mouthing the economy, is because that's the way you get to print and spend $2 trillion in funny money and continue to consolidate all things at the federal level.
Yeah, I've only been saying that for 4 months. Yeah, of course, that's exactly what they're doing. We have an economy that's on the mend. We don't need 1.1 trillion. We don't need 1.5 trillion. We don't need 1.9 trillion. Folks, we need zero. I mean, if Milton Friedman were alive today, he'd say we should be cutting government spending and getting rid of the barriers and burdens of government. And yet, you're exactly right. This is precisely their strategy. They're coming in and they're saying, oh, my God, it's the greatest crisis in the history of the United States. We've got to spend $1.9 trillion. We've got to do it immediately, right now. So don't wait one more minute. Spend this $1.9 trillion. And by the way, there's $1 trillion they haven't even already spent. That's how insane this is, folks. These people are out of control. $1 trillion that we just passed, a month ago, hasn't even been spent yet, and they want to spend another $1.9 trillion. By the way, the allocations just came out last night. You may not, and Amy may not have had a chance to look at the numbers, but I think it's like $20 billion for. I'll have to look this up, but it's billions and billions of dollars to Illinois. So I know you'll sleep well. Here it is. I've got it right here.
Okay.
How much does Illinois get? They got. Here it is. Yeah, something like $10 billion. So, gee, well, how can you turn that down? Of course, the federal government can only give money to states if it takes state money from other states.
Okay, so then it's a feature, not a bug. This is purposeful. It's purposeful to a particular end. It's not purposeful because they think this is going to be good policy. It's purposeful because they think this is going to enhance their ability to exercise control. And so
of course.
we're not going. So, but then at the same time, you're conceding that. You're saying, well, China is not going to overtake us because our central planners are better than their central planners.
What I'm saying is we're still not as big sinners as they are. I mean, they do have real central planning. Yeah, we are moving in that direction. There's no question about that.
And by the way, Republicans are, especially those Republicans celebrated by the press for being anti-Trump, like Mitt Romney, are moving in that direction too. Romney introduced the Family Security Act last week, which would provide child payments for children, $350 a month for every child, a family raising under the age of 5, $250 for every child between the age of 6 and 17, up to $1,250 a month. In addition to these benefits, new parents would collect a $1,400 one-time payment just before their child's birth. In sum, the parents of a child born next year could receive up to $62,000 in child support from Uncle Sam by the time the kid turns 18 if Romney's bill became law. And why wouldn't it be with this Congress and this president?
So, by the way, I just got the absolute correct number, so I want to be exactly accurate. Illinois will get, you ready for this, guys? Ready to party?
Mm-hmm.
$13.2 billion.
Yeah, 10, 13 billion. It's a
$13.2
few billion here. Doesn't mean
Congratulations,
anything.
you won the lottery, folks. And so you got $13.2 billion. And by the way, California gets $40 billion. So, gee, it's all going to the blue states. What a shock. I'm sorry, what was your question again?
Mitt Romney and his Family Security Act, $62,000 for a child born next year in lifetime benefits.
We're just passing out free money, folks. I mean, this is I'm doing these estimates with Casey Mullen. We're estimating that the person for not working, with the family credits, with the $1,400 additional payments, with the unemployment benefits, with the increased food stamps, with the expanded Medicaid, you can make about $60,000 a year this year, folks, for not working. Why is anybody working? Well, Dan, why do you get up early in the morning and do that job? You can make $60,000 for doing nothing.
Yeah, for the love of the game.
For the love of the game.
Yeah. So again.
Yeah,
so now,
this is a serious point. Most of us do love our jobs. We want to be productive. We want to be, feel like we have a mission in life. But there are a lot of people who don't, and a lot of people have really tough jobs. We have jobs we love. But if you're a truck driver or you're a construction worker, those are tough jobs. And we're going to pay people more money for not working than the people who are delivering things, the construction workers, the people working in nursing homes. Folks, that's not fair. It's not smart, and it's going to hurt our economy. We're going to have 40 million unemployed people, and we're going to have 8 million open jobs.
Yeah, and many of those unemployed people will be unemployed and loving it, and that's the real long-term problem. He is Steve Moore, Wall Street Journal columnist, Trumponomics author. Steve, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Okay, guys. Have a great week.
Thanks. You too. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Larry Nora, founder and CEO of U-Store It, a network of award-winning self-storage facilities in the Chicago area, and a customer of Signature Bank. We've developed over 70 storage centers throughout the city and suburbs, and our business continues to grow. We need a bank who understands the neighborhoods and communities where we are making investments. We found that in Signature Bank. They know this city and its neighborhoods because they are based right here in Chicago. Finding a local banking institution like Signature Bank has been critical to the success of U-Store It, and we look forward to a long-term relationship.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Cold floors, the problem is probably in the basement or crawl space. Permaseal can now help make your basement and crawl space warmer, and therefore your upstairs will be more comfortable with their new product, Permafoam installation. Permaseal's Permafoam. They can spray between your floor joists, which not only increases your energy efficiency, but will also stop insects, rodents from entering your home. It's mold and mildew resistant. Rim joist spray foam. I love that when we talk about shop. The rim joist spray can be installed in just one day and is twice as effective as the old-fashioned way they do things. For over 42 years, 450,000 homeowners across Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana have trusted Permaseal to make their home healthier and more valuable. Save money and be more comfortable. Call Permaseal today to schedule a free evaluation. The number to call, 800-421-SEAL, 800-421-SEAL, or visit permaseal.net and ask about their 60 months with zero interest financing or 10% off if you spend $1,000. Permaseal, known best for being better.
This is attorney Stephen Leahy. This isn't the first crisis we faced together. Back in 2008, business professionals in trouble sought help from bankruptcy attorneys, loan modification attorneys, foreclosure defense